Welcome and good evening. My name is Carrie Bierman. I'm the Director of Social Services for the County of Marin. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to this presentation this evening on job and career pathways into the county. Recruiting from the local community is a priority for us. We value a workforce that is familiar with and committed to serving residents of Marin. Currently, approximately 60% of our county workforce resides outside of the county. This can make for long commute times, increased stress, and poor staff retention over time. By recruiting closer to home, we hope to attract a workforce that is likely to remain working for the county for longer periods of time and even for years to come. When seeking to find county employees, we greatly value diversity, racially, ethnically, and linguistically. We want to make sure that we have staff who connect with clients and families that we serve so that we can continue to strengthen the bonds of trust between the county and the community. We want staff who look like our clients being served and who can speak to clients and families in their primary language. These are some of the things that we value. Given the pandemic and the state of the economy, we know that many lives have changed. Some people are unemployed and looking for new opportunities. Others are using this time to explore doing something new, shifting careers to something more gratifying and meaningful. Tonight, you will be hearing from staff about a variety of opportunities, some professional, some paraprofessional. We've chosen to focus on jobs that are primarily entry level and are therefore easier to access. Not all of these options are going to apply to everyone, but I would encourage you to approach the information with an open mind and also to be thinking about if there are others you know where these jobs might be a fit for them. The goal of tonight is to give a broad overview of some of the things that we offer to get your foot in the door with the county. In the early part of next year, we will plan to do more specific workshops geared towards particular areas of interest. Tonight, you will have a chance to hear from staff who actually perform these jobs and will get the opportunity to ask them questions that you may have about the day-to-day experience. Also tonight, you will be hearing from a representative from our Human Resources Department. He will provide us with an overview of the process, tips for how to apply for jobs, how to increase your chances that your application leads to an interview, as well as some interviewing tips. If you have questions during this presentation, please use the Q&A function. We will attempt to get to all the answers at the end of the presentation. Again, we'll plan to have more workshops on specific job and career opportunities starting in the early part of next year. So if you are interested in hearing more about a particular opportunity, also feel free to put your name and email address in the Q&A. Only the panelists will be able to see your information, so don't worry about the rest of the audience being able to see it. So now, without further ado, let me introduce our panelists for this evening. I want to start by introducing our HHS Director, Benita Mclaren. Benita has a long history of supporting professional development and encouraging career development, and we're honored and happy to have her with us tonight. Thank you, Benita. I want to introduce my planning partner, Connie Moreno-Peraza. Connie is a division director, and she is our partner representing behavioral health this evening. In order of appearance tonight, we're going to be hearing from Jeremy Duvall. He is a senior eligibility worker, and he will be talking about what it's like to be an eligibility worker. Next, we'll hear from Leslie Fields, and Leslie is going to talk to us about the opportunity of being a foster parent. Next, we'll hear from Aaron Alarcon-Bowen, who is the Executive Director of the Marin County Public Authority, and he'll be talking to us about how to be an in-home supportive services care provider. Next, we'll hear from Galen. Galen Main will talk to us about workforce education and training in behavioral health. Next, we'll hear from Damaris Caro, who is a peer support counselor, and she will talk to us about peer support, which can often lead to employment opportunities. We'll hear from Dr. Rebecca Stein, who is a behavioral health unit supervisor, and she will talk to us about the internship program. And then finally, we'll hear from Mike Acock, who is a manager in human resources, and he will talk about the tips that I mentioned about applying for and interviewing for county jobs. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our first speaker, Jeremy Duvall.
Thanks, Carrie. As Carrie mentioned, my name is Jeremy Duvall. I've been an eligibility worker with Marin County, the county which I was born and raised, since 2016. So I'm really excited to be able to speak with you guys tonight. Prior to being an eligibility worker, I was an ancient Mediterranean historian. I often joke that if someone was to travel through time from ancient Rome, I could be the county's first bilingual Latin worker. I bring that up just to really get across to you guys that people come to eligibility work from just a really wide variety of backgrounds. Next slide, please. So what does an eligibility worker do? I like to call eligibility workers barrier busters. You really are a bridge between those most in need in our community and a whole wide variety of different, really great public service programs. So as an eligibility worker, you're going to be help guiding clients through applying for or receiving benefits like Medi-Cal, so health insurance, benefits like CalFresh, which you might have heard referred to as SNAP in other states, are food stamps, it's food assistance, other programs like CalWorks. CalWorks is a cash assistance program for families with dependent children. So you're really interfacing and working with these clients in need in the various parts of their journey through public assistance. So you get them when they come in, when they're on assistance, when they go off assistance. You're really there to help facilitate people's journey through this process. Next slide, please. So the Marin County Eligibility Training Program is really great. During your first year probation, that training basically is divided into two main phases. In the first phase, you're within a sort of classroom environment where you're learning all the program aspects of CalFresh, Medi-Cal, all those programs. How do we determine eligibility? But what also is really great is public assistance really tries to empower their eligibility workers with becoming well-rounded, holistic workers. So you'll do certain trainings in trauma-informed care. How do we deal with people in crisis? You'll have some trainings on developing growth mindset over fixed mindset. So really empowering their eligibility workers, not only with the program knowledge, right, that we need to do these programs, but also all the soft skills which you could take throughout your eligibility career and onwards of how do we deal with people with crisis? How do we provide the best support to those truly in need in our community? Next slide, please. So the eligibility worker class is really great. You start as an EW1, we call them EWs for eligibility workers. And then as soon as you're done with your first year in probation, you transition right away into an eligibility worker 2. And then from there, there's so many great career paths. You could become an eligibility worker 3, which is what my position is, or we call them lead workers. You can transition into a program specialist where maybe you specialize in one of the programs, like you become a specialized worker in CalFresh or in Medi-Cal. But not only than that, the county and HHS is really wants to support your growth, and eligibility worker is that great foot in the door job. And I know a lot of my colleagues have gone to work for public guardian's office, the Marin court system. So it's really a great job for you to sort of begin a career with the county. It's not just a job, it really is that first step in a career. And then while working within that sort of umbrella, you can find maybe someplace else within the county that you would like to explore, or it's really a great sort of launching pad for your career in public service. For me, what I love best about being an eligibility worker, if you want to have a career or you want to take part in work where you what you do is purpose-driven. I often talk about EWs every day. The first thing I like to do is craft my purpose, like what's my purpose for that day. And in any given situation, you have real agency as an eligibility worker to affect positive change in people's lives. There's nothing more central to living a healthy lifestyle and being able to exist in this county than having access to medical care or putting food on the table. And you get to be a real, an agent of that change in your community, of putting food on the table for hungry kids or making sure people can access medical care. So it's really a great profession. I really advise anyone who's interested in to apply. I hope to see you guys as my future colleagues, and thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Leslie Fields, and it's kind of perfect that I'm following Jeremy because I started my career in Marin County as an eligibility worker. I'm now working for Children and Family Services, and I am the Resource Family Recruiter. So I'm here tonight to speak to you not about an employment opportunity, but a way to be involved and give back by being a resource family. What is a resource family, you're asking yourself? They are what was previously known as a foster family. So it's people who are providing care for children in the foster care system. And to apply, you would need to be a Marin County resident of adult age. You can be single or part of a couple, married or not. You need to be able to provide identification so we can do a background check. And you need to be willing to work as part of a team to provide safety and consistency to the children in your care. And of course, you'll need to have space in your home. If you want to care for children over the age of 2, they must have their own bedroom. If you live in a smaller space, a 1-bedroom, you could foster infants 0 to 2. They could be in a crib in your room. So once you become a resource parent, you will be provided with professional training, both pre-approval and ongoing. You will be provided with a lifetime membership to the Marin Foster Care Association. They are a wonderful nonprofit here in Marin County. They have what they call the Community Resource Center, which they house all the donations. So there's clothes, sports equipment, school supplies, anything you might need to care for a child. And even if they don't have it in stock, they probably have a connection to get it for you. So just go ahead and ask them. They also provide social support. They provide education, annual socials. When it's not COVID times, they would host a picnic in the summer, and they have a holiday party in the winter. And they also have an opportunity fund, which provides up to a $500 grant to children in foster care for any extra special things, like maybe a summer camp or purchasing an instrument, something like that. You will also be provided with ongoing support in the form of your social worker. We also have a resource family liaison who is the person who checks in with all of our families to make sure they have everything they need. We have public health nurses on staff, as well as mental health practitioners to support you. And we even have a teen coach. So if you're running into any challenging situations with teens in your placement, you can call on her. You will receive a monthly stipend, and it is meant to offset the cost of meeting a child's basic needs. So it's not a payment for you, it's not employment. And then all the children in foster care do receive Medi-Cal, which will cover their medical, their dental, and any therapy needs. So why should you apply? Well, supporting a child while their family is going through a challenging time can be a life-changing experience for you. It's an opportunity to give back to your community, share your unique interests with a child, and you would be able to join the amazing, supportive Marin fostering community. And the bottom line is we need more homes in Marin. Due to our current lack of homes, almost 1/3 of the Marin County youth in foster care are placed in homes outside of the county, and we need your help to bring them closer to home. If you would like to learn more, you can visit our website right here, fosterourfuturemarin.org, and register to attend one of our monthly orientations. The December orientation is actually this Thursday in 2 nights at 7 p.m. I will be co-facilitating with one of our current resource parents who will share her experience of going through the approvals process and what it's like to welcome a child into your home. And there's also a contact feature on the website to reach me directly. So thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Alarcon-Bowen, and I'm the Executive Director of the In-Home Support Services Public Authority of Marin. Before I go on, I would like to explain who the Public Authority is. We are an independent government agency that makes sure that all the recipients of IHSS have access to an in-home care provider. And you might be asking, well, what is IHSS? IHSS stands for In-Home Supported Services, and it is a welfare program offered by the state of California to ensure that older adults and individuals with disabilities that are medical recipients have access to an in-home care provider. That way they can stay at home independently and with dignity. And before I go on how you can become an in-home care provider, I would like to show a little video featuring recipients and providers who will tell us what it is to be an in-home care provider for IHSS. Please start the video.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh, my back hurts today. I got a lot of pain.
You got a lot of pain today?
If I didn't have a care provider, I wouldn't be as healthy or happy as I am now.
This is rewarding to me because there's a lot of elderly people that doesn't have family that really needs our care. And I'm here to, to be the one to care for people that really needs care.
I prefer the word caregiver because I've never had one that didn't care.
I'm always doing something a little extra. It's not hard, to do something extra to make somebody happy.
And to me, the caregivers are the ones that get the gift.
And that little extra right there went a long way with her, So she tells her parrot, his name is Gray, we got the best worker in the world, So just that little thing helped her, and it made me feel good inside.
It's difficult for me to stand for a very long period of time. My caregiver shops. My caregiver goes to the pharmacy. I could have my own pharmacy here.
It's just very rewarding helping people to be able to get the attention they need, the help they need, and to be able to stay in their own home. That's really important.
Without my IHSS caregiver, I would be watching Turner Classic Movies 24 hours a day.
I'm a caring, giving person, and I really enjoy helping people.
I'd like to tell anyone who's thinking about becoming a caregiver that while they may think they're giving a gift to somebody else, they're the ones who will be getting paid back enormously, and they will get the greatest gift in the world, helping somebody else.
Well, thank you very much for showing the video. As you can see, IHSS offers a very important service in our community. So our care providers are the core of our agency. In order to be an IHSS care provider, we really don't need experience. The only thing that we need is to have the heart to make a difference on the lives of our recipients. You need to fill out an application. In fact, I'm going to post a link to our application in the chat. You need to give us 3 professional references. You need to have an in-person interview. Right now, because of COVID, all of our interviews are being held via Zoom. You also need to comply an orientation that is also online, that is required by the state of California, and be live scanned and fingerprinted. You don't need to have any license. You don't need to have any CNA. And right now, our wage to all of our in-home care providers is $15.25. However, starting on February the 1st, we are moving to $15.40. And we are one of the highest paid in the state of California. If you can please go to the next slide. We offer many benefits and many perks to become an IHSS care provider. If you can go to the next slide, please. We offer health benefits. And in order to enjoy the health and dental benefits that we offer, all you need to do is to work approximately 20 hours a week. And if you pay 20 hours a week, the agency will provide health and dental benefits. And all you pay is $152 a month and for health and $20 for dental. These benefits are for providers only. We also offer flexible schedule. You tell us how many hours a day you want to work, where you want to work, what type of recipient you are to work. We offer a variety of free trainings around the year. We offer free supplies. And right now, because of COVID, we are offering free PPE, from masks to paper gowns to face shields, you name it. We also offer scrubs, hand sanitizer, etc., to make sure that you are as safe as possible during the work. You also can work up to 30 hours of overtime a week. We offer reimbursement for traveling, and also we offer, we introduce you to a lot of resources in the community. We understand that unfortunately the pay to be an in-home care provider unfortunately is not ideal. That's why the public authority is there to help you and connect you with other resources in the community. We are very close to start a partnership for a CNA certification that is going to be offered to all the providers in our registry with College of Marin. And most importantly, like one of the recipients mentioned in our video, the biggest reward comes from seeing that your work is making a difference on those that are the most vulnerable. Like I said, I'm going to post in the chat the link to our application. Is actually online. It's a very simple application. And as soon as you fill it out, somebody from my office will contact you and will tell you what the next step is. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope to hear from all of you soon.
So here in Marin, and behavioral health, we have a really collaborative process with our clients and family members around prioritizing some of our funding sources, including the Mental Health Services Act, workforce education and training funding. And the clear priority that we've come up with through all of that planning has been around strengthening the career pipeline and increasing the number of people with lived experience with mental health or substance use challenges from culturally diverse backgrounds working in the public behavioral health system, which includes our community-based organizations that we partner with. So study after study has shown that the value of peer support staff in supporting the recovery of those we're serving, promoting connection, inspiring hope, increasing engagement in wellness and self-care activities, while decreasing hospitalizations and psychotic symptoms. Next slide. Thank you. In order to foster as robust of a workforce as possible, BHRS and stakeholder committees, which have the majority of people with lived experience, have worked together to develop the following strategies to support and expand the peer workforce throughout Marin. So even if you don't already have training in peer support work, we have a lot of programs, pre-employment strategies to help with that. So we fund training programs, both a free nationally certified co-occurring peer education program in Marin City, as well as providing scholarships for culturally diverse consumers and family members to complete other vocational and certificate courses in mental health or substance use or domestic violence peer counseling. These scholarship awards typically cover both registration, tuition costs, as well as other barriers to attendance, like childcare or transportation and books. The next round of these scholarship awards will be in the spring. So please add your email address to the chat if you would like us to include you on that posting. Then the next thing is the internship placement and stipend program, which we support graduates of the training programs to gain professional experience in public behavioral health settings, including our contracted partners, such as the Empowerment Clubhouse, Helen Vine, and Centerpoint. We also, through all of this, we provide support, including mentoring and career counseling to support these interns and scholarship recipients and those just looking for employment opportunities to use their lived experience. We partner with the Multicultural Center of Marin, Integrated Community Services, and Marin City Community Development Corporation for that. For jobs, here in behavioral health, we've been expanding the number of designated county peer position and family partner positions within the county, as well as contracting with community-based organizations for additional peer providers for many of our county programs, as well as peer personnel who are working directly in many of our CBO partners. In addition, many non-designated and non-direct service roles within BHRS are filled with people who live with lived experience. and our career growth. We have BHRS is leading the way on peer career pathways, and it's one of only in California with a designated peer position as part of their leadership team. This new position, which was approved by the Board of Supervisors in November of this year, not only strengthens the career ladder within county behavioral health services, which is a peer specialist 1, peer specialist 2, and now the peer program coordinator. But the position will also be providing training and support to support the career growth of the peer providers and interns throughout county and contracted services. So I'm happy to answer any questions about these at the end. Thank you so much.
Next, we'll have Damaris Caro, please. Damaris, we can't hear you. Can you try now? Are you unmuted? Okay, sorry about that, everybody. It doesn't look like Damaris's microphone is on. So why don't we go to Rebecca Stein and we can see if we can get Damaris's video to work.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Stein, and I am the Internship Training Program Director for BHRS, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about our training program and related career pathways today. We are a clinical internship training program, which is another professional training program, but it's different from the training program that Galen was talking about in that it's specific to clinical training. So we historically have trained MFTs, LCSWs, primarily we're training psychologists currently, but we do have some LMFT and LCSW trainees currently as well. We have been a training program for the community of Marin since the mid to late 60s. So BHRS was created in response to John F. Kennedy's Community Mental Health Service Act in the mid 60s. And once BHRS was formed, we started training clinical interns, and we trained interns to provide specialty mental health services such as case management and psychotherapy with Marin County Medi-Cal recipients. So these are people who have severe and persistent mental illness and are seeking help for that. Our training program is proudly one of the most diverse, culturally diverse programs in all of BHRS. And we have 2 tracks. We have a Latino family health track and an Asian family health track, in which our clinical interns learn to provide specialized treatment for Marin County underserved communities. The core values of our training program are quality care and scholarship, community service, and cultural humility. And it's another point of pride that our clinical internship training program has created a number of licensed professionals who then get hired into BHRS. I can think of about 20 people currently who are former interns who are working either within BHRS or who are working for partner community mental health agencies providing mental health services for Marin County Medi-Cal recipients, as I said. And those former interns end up getting promoted. So we have people in positions of leadership in both BHRS and in our community partner agencies. So those core values of quality care and scholarship, community service, and cultural humility, those values shape the services that we provide to the community and program development in the community as well. We have interns who have gone on to work for agencies like Buckaloo, the Empowerment Clubhouse, and Canal Alliance, as well as others. We have former interns doing immigration work in the county. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at the end of this presentation. Thank you.
Good evening again, everybody. I'm going to briefly cover our application and interview process so you have an idea of what you need to do and what to expect when applying for a county position, as you've heard about a lot of valuable and meaningful work from our staff and partners here. So starting off, how to apply. To view all of our current opportunities, you need to go to marincounty.org/jobs. All of our opportunities are listed online in the career opportunities selection section. And when you go to marincounty.org/jobs, there's a link for you to view those opportunities, those open recruitments. A county application is required in our process to indicate your interest in a position, and we only accept applications for advertised positions. In addition, if you're applying for multiple positions, you'll need to apply separately to each one. That's a common point of confusion among applicants for when they want to apply for multiple opportunities. Once your application is submitted, your application serves a few purposes. It'll be used for screening on the minimum qualifications for a job. It could be used for secondary review based on the recruitment's ideal candidate, the position's ideal candidate profile. And it'll also be used for information purpose for the hiring team in the interview process. So that's just how to apply, but let's talk about some best practices here as you approach the application process. First, view your application. If you could go to the previous slide, please. First, view your application as your first impression in the recruitment, just like your resume is a first impression with other employers. You should use it to showcase your match for the position. You want to complete each section of the application in full. Common mistakes from applicants that we find include not addressing all parts of the question or how they meet the qualifications. And candidates assume the person reviewing the application is familiar with their experience or skills or abilities. So bottom line, best tip is don't leave out any important information when you're filling out the application. In addition, don't just copy and paste your employment history into the narrative response questions. We typically have those in the supplemental questionnaire section. Those questions are your opportunity to describe your skills and experience in a way that the structured application doesn't really allow. In addition, we recommend that you don't respond with C resume because the initial reviewer doesn't always have access to those attachments for confidentiality reasons. Finally, you want to make sure that you update your application when applying for new jobs. This includes adding new experience or education and indicating new employment, such as, if you've been hired and you're applying for a new position within our organization, you indicate that you're now a county employee. So going back to that best practice of completing the application in full, this slide shows an example of a response to a minimum qualification question. We'd like you to notice the question itself, asking about the education and experience. And notice that in the example, this person has addressed each part of that question by including their responsibilities and when and where they perform them. But they have done so in a way that's easy for the reviewer to understand, to read and understand by pulling out the relevant information from their full history. So, all right, moving on to the next step. Well, there may be some other steps that you may encounter in the recruitment process. For today's purpose, I'd like to go on to interviews, which is the other significant step in our process. So I'll give you a quick overview of what interviews would look like in our organization, and then I'm going to move on to some best practices in the interview process. So we have two main interview types that we use here at the county: live interviews and one-way interviews. One-way interviews are where candidates respond to written questions by submitting a video response, and a panel will review those video responses and reach back out to candidates when they've completed that review. The live interviews, which you'd probably be most familiar with, are mostly done in a panel format, and they can be done either in person or they can be done via a video meeting tool like Microsoft Teams or Zoom, and we're using those a lot right now during COVID. You may participate in an individual interview as part of the final interview for a position, but you are most likely in your interview experience with the county going to be encountering a panel format interview. So best practices as you get ready to interview, there's three areas that we have best practices. First is preparation, then there's during your interview, and then there's the follow-up. So first on preparation. Preparation is one of the most important things that you can do for interviews. Before you interview for a position, we recommend that you gather as much information as possible about the division and about the position. Familiarizing yourself with this helps you reflect on your own experience, your own background, and generally prepare for answers for standard questions like what interests you about this position and what makes you the ideal candidate for this position. You know, knowing about the division and the position are key things to help you in those areas. Use documents and sources available to you. You have the job announcement, we have our HHS website, we have our countywide website, and seek other attachments and plans and information pieces that we have on those websites. Next, reflect back on your application and your resume and think about your experience in education and how it's prepared you for the position that you're interviewing. Take a look at resources like our interview question library that's online at our HR website. It'll give you an idea of the types of questions that will be asked. Look at the ideal candidate statement in the job announcement to help you hone in on the competencies that may be asked in your interview and practice answering questions in those areas. There's a lot of questions that you can practice with. Write down and bring notes to your interview. So in your preparation, start writing down notes on your general responses to question areas in your experience. It's okay to do this, but make sure that your notes aren't so detailed that you have to read them directly when you're in the interview. Your notes should be a reminder for you in the interview process, not your sole source of information. And finally, in preparation, as far as today, prepare to dress appropriately for every interview. Typically, think about one step above what current employees may wear. If you're not sure, feel free to ask. That is totally okay. So moving on to during your interview, this is where you put your prep into action. So in your interview, whether it's video or whether it's live video, whether it's one-way video or whether it's in person, be aware of your body language, your eye contact and your tone. They're just as important as the words that you're using in your responses. Make sure you understand the questions being asked. If you don't, it's okay to ask for clarification. When you are responding to questions, use specific examples to support your answers and draw back on your notes and your prep to help spur those examples when you're in the middle of the interview. At the end of the interview, ask relevant questions. Show that you've thought about the job and ask about things beyond when will I hear about the next steps. You prepare some position-specific questions or other things about working for the county that you might be interested in knowing. And most importantly, when you're in the interview, don't assume that the panel member knows you. Answer the questions with a mindset that they have no information about you. That way you're leaving nothing behind when you leave that interview room. And then once you've conducted your interview, follow up. This is also really important because it leaves a lasting impression in the panel's mind. So be sure to follow up with your panel after the interview. A physical or an email thank you note goes a long way. I know many people prefer a physical note, but sometimes that can be difficult to get, especially right now. So an email note is just fine. Also debrief with yourself about the interview. Think about your interview performance. No interview is perfect and nobody innately has a skill in interviewing. Remain positive and think about what you could have done differently. Incorporate that into your preparation for your next interview, whether you move on in the process or you're interviewing for other positions. Take that debrief and apply that in your next round. So that covers a lot of the main best practices that we want to touch on today with our time in applications and interviewing. But we want to highlight our follow-up information here. So marincounty.org/jobs is our site that you can go to and find our career opportunities. And then we also have we're on social media. That's where you can find out about our new opportunities and keep in touch with openings as they come up. And that's through LinkedIn, Marin Gov Jobs, and then we occasionally post on the county's general Facebook page as well. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions once we are done.
Hello, everyone. I hope this time you can hear me. My name is Damaris Caro, and to explain how I came from the community to the county, I'd like to share a little bit about me first as an individual. I live here in Marin County. I'm an adult woman. I hold a master's degree in linguistics and literature in Spanish. I am bilingual and bicultural. As an active member of my community, I'm also a volunteer promotora with North Marin Community Services since 2015. But what's a promotor? What's a promotora? A promotor is a volunteer individual from the community, men or women, young or adult, literate or illiterate, monolingual or bilingual, who has been carefully selected and appropriately trained to serve as a bridge or community liaison between an agency program and the community. Now, since September 8th, I am working as a behavioral health recovery services peer counselor for Marin County. How did I come across this current job position? I received an email from the Promotora's program director, and then I got really encouraged by a colleague promotora. I decided to apply based on my experience with my community as a promotora. I entered the county process and got the job. In my role as a peer, I am participating in the whole process of a pilot program called Help at Hand. Help at Hand is part of a 15-county innovation project funded by the Mental Health Services Act in Marin. In Marin County Help at Hand, it's being coordinated by the County of Marin Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery Services in collaboration with the Division of Aging and Adult Services. The goal of Help at Hand is to learn where and how digital behavioral health technologies fit within the system of behavioral health care. For example, how can people access digital technology to improve their well-being? So for this pilot program, we're reaching out to older adults, 60 years of age and older, who reside in Marin County to provide training in digital literacy and in using technology to support their well-being. They do not need any technology experience or technology device to participate. There is a registration form that needs to be completed prior to their participation. Small incentives are available for completing survey interviews or focus groups. There are some benefits to these participants, like opportunities to connect to others and help decide what technology best suits older adults. Assistance learning to access technology to support your wellness, improving sleep, developing healthier living strategies, coping with grief or loss, etc. In-person and online support with nurse interns from local universities in full personal protective equipment, following safety protocols. Support using digital devices and accessing the internet if needed. Support accessing telehealth appointments if needed. As you can see, it is possible to get from the community to the county. The county really values members of their communities because as individuals, we know our community and the people the county serves. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. I wanted to now give the opportunity for any questions that the audience may have. I don't currently see any questions in the Q&A, but if you can see the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, please feel free to type in any questions and we will try to respond to them. One thing that I wanted to do was to give Erin the opportunity to say the website where you can apply to be an IHSS caregiver.
Yes, hi. I tried to put the website on the chat, but it was not possible. Just please go to www.pamarin.org, and then when you go into the website, you will see a menu. Go where it says care providers and then to registry. And you will find there something very easy that says apply online. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, please give us a call at 415-499-1024. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Erin. Are there any other questions? Well, again, I hope tonight has been useful information. Please keep an open mind about what you have heard, even if these opportunities are not things that you automatically think for yourself. They are extremely gratifying experiences, as you've heard, and you might have friends or neighbors or family members who might also be interested. This presentation will be posted on our Marin County HHS Facebook page starting tomorrow. So a lot of the websites that were provided will be available for you to view. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Good night.